Hey, what's up guys, it's Dark Arm Duels, and today we're going to be doing some MathMech test hands. This is actually a Patreon request test hand video for AWalt. I'm really excited for this one because this deck is really insane and can do some really insane plays for you guys. It can summon out some one of the most powerful synchro monsters in the entire game, which is GeoMathMech Final Sigma, that can single-handedly OTK your opponent for some insane damage. So, without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name in the description for every single video, getting a signed card in the mail, or even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your patron along with test hands. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this, and thank you so much AWalt for actually requesting this because this is an insanely fun deck. I had a lot of fun of playing this actually on the Staring at Games stream, which you guys are not subscribed to that too, you definitely should. It is down in the description below. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, so if you guys would go check that out, it would be a big help as well. So let me go ahead and shuffle up the deck and see what we can do. And again, thank you so much AWalt for requesting this one, and definitely give AWalt some love down in the comments down below. So let's go ahead and pile shuffle the deck up. And I will say to you guys, this deck is absolutely insane because basically you're able to pull off some absolutely insane combos in this deck where you can go first, you can go second. This deck does not care if you go first or go second. You're going to get pretty much the same board. If you get pushed to go first, it's totally fine because I play a build that plays stuff like Cynet Conflict and other cards that are just let this deck completely pop off against your opponent. And it just has so much recovery potential as well. I will say that the deck going second, however, can just basically turbo out GeoMathMech Final Sigma, and then it just OTKs your opponent with the greatest of ease. So I'm going to be leaning a little bit heavier towards the going first hands in this particular video. So let's go ahead and see what we can do. I will say you might have to take moments and pause and play back because this deck is a little bit complicated to play because you're going for the same basic combo over and over again, but there are certain extenders that make the deck go just a little bit further. So let's go ahead and see what we can do for the first test hand. So we're going to go ahead and draw into a Upstart Goblin, Microcoder, which is great to open up with, Subtraction, Equation, and a copy of Lady Debug. So this is a very good opening hand because you have two special summons in your hand. The copy of Subtraction can target any face-up monster on the field, and if you do, you can special summon this card from your hand, and the targeted monster loses 1,000 attack. So I can't actually target my own Lady Debug if I want to, but I'm going to go ahead and start out with that Upstart Goblin to be able to draw for turn, because you do need to be able to just draw for turn and go ahead and get it out of the way to be able to see what you can go ahead and get, which drawing that Balancer Lord is absolutely great. So we're going to go ahead and normal summon out the Balancer Lord because Balancer Lord is the main card that you're going to want to get to as quickly as possible. And I'm going to go ahead and pay my 1,000 life points to use its effect to be able to normal summon additional time, which I'm going to normal summon out my Lady Debug. Now, Lady Debug lets you grab a level 3 or lower Cyverse monster from the deck, which you have a couple of options, but mainly the one that you're going to want to grab is your Microcoder, because all of your other cards, I mean, Microcoder is going to be the main one that you're going to grab because all of your copies of your MathMechs are level 4 or higher, which is not that big of a deal to open up double Microcoder because you have plenty of plays that you can go for in this particular deck with the Microcoder, and you can actually search Cynet Mining, so you have a lot of different ways to play this. So, now that we've summoned out our copy of Lady Debug and our copy of Balancer Lord, there's no real need to actually summon out the Subtraction yet. So what we're going to do is go ahead and link away the Balancer Lord for a copy of Link Disciple. So Link Disciple is going to be the first card that you're ever going to link summon in this deck, and it's very important to actually link summon into this. So then we're going to link away the copy of Lady Debug for a copy of Link Devotee. So this is the very easy, simple Link Devotee, Link Disciple combo that you basically use Link Disciple to be able to tribute your Link Devotee to give you 2 tokens, and you get to draw a card and put it back on the bottom of your deck, any card in your hand, which is why I'm not that worried about opening up and getting to 2 copies of Microcoder, because I can just put one back and it eats up the cost of the draw, which is really nice. So once you get that out of the deck, the only important thing to keep in mind is you can't link any higher than 3 for the rest of the turn. You can't link anything really higher than 2 because it says on the card of your Link Devotee that if this card is special summoned for the rest of the turn, you cannot link summon 3 or higher Link monsters. So I just go for Link 2s for the rest of the turn. It's totally fine. You're just getting set up with stuff like IP Masquerena and some Xyz monsters anyways when you go first. So We're going to go ahead and use the Link Disciples effect and tribute off the copy of Link Devotee to be able to draw a card, which then will also give us 2 tokens on our side of the field, which I like to put my tokens away from where I'm starting to link, because if you put your tokens away from where you're starting to link, it does help out the combos a little bit better, so you don't have to like worry about, oh my god, I'm going to have link zones everywhere going everywhere. Well, keep it clean, link over here, keep your monsters over here. That's how I usually play. Now you're going to use your copy, you have to put something on the bottom of the deck, so we're just going to put a copy of Microcoder on the bottom of the deck. It's not that big of a deal, but now that you've done that, you can go ahead and use your copy of Microcoder in your hand with one of the tokens on your side of the field to then link summon out a copy of the, where is it? A copy of Code Talker Inverted. So Code Talker Inverted is going to help out this a lot because it's actually going to go Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. You can actually chain block against your opponent so they can't block the copy of the Microcoder to be able to get you a search. So the Microcoder is really powerful because you can use it in the hand to be able to link summon, but the Microcoder is actually going to search you from the deck your copy of your Cynet Conflict. So the Cynet Conflict is going to help out the deck a lot because it's going to give you a counter trap to stop your opponent, especially since you're going first. It's going to help out a lot to get you more plays. And that's what I was trying to show you guys too. If they did Ash Blossom against the copy of your Lady Debug, it really wouldn't have been that big of a deal because you had the equation you could have put back, you had the subtraction you could have put back, and it really wouldn't have stopped you in a lot of plays. So now that you put this on the field, you're going to go with this first and then this second, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter, whichever one you want to chain block. And if this card is Link Summon, you can special summon a Cyverse monster from your hand, which I'm going to special summon out my copy of Sigma, but it has a special summon to a zone this card points to, which is not that big of a deal. I'm just going to put it right here because it's going to be the best place for it. I'm trying to get 2 level 4s on my side of the field as quickly as possible now because it's going to help out the plays the majority of the time. So I'm going to go ahead and set my copy of my Cynet Conflict under my copy of my Code Talker Inverted just so I can remember it. And then I'm going to go ahead and link my Link Disciple away with my copy of my token on my side of the field just to get it out of the way and get it off the field, to then go into a copy of Cyverse Wick Kid. So Wick Kid is going to help me out a lot in this particular combo, and it's a little interchangeable. You could have gone for Wick Kid before the copy of Code Talker Inverted and then got your play off a little bit faster, but it's not that big of a deal. So your copy of Wick Kid is going to go off, and then when the Wick Kid goes off, you'll go ahead and add a copy of Nabla from deck to hand, and you have to banish a card from your graveyard that is a Cyverse monster. Now, what we're going to banish from the graveyard is your copy of your Balancer Lore, because what this card does, if you guys are unfamiliar with what this does, you're actually going to, well, actually, back up a second. You won't get the search yet because you have to special summon. So I'm actually jumping ahead. So actually use the effect of your subtraction to reduce the attack of your Sigma down to 0 and then special summon it. Then overlay these 2. So hold on a second. Actually overlay these 2. And when a monster is special summoned to the copy of Wick Kid's zone, you then can go off with its effect. So now we're going to go off with the effect of our copy of our Wick Kid. You always want to summon out your copy of the Prima Mathmech. This is going to be very important for this particular play because once you summon this to your side of the field, you're going to have so much advantage to be able to go into so many different plays. So once you summon this to your side of the field, your copy of Cyverse Wick Kid will go off now, and you'll actually get to search from the deck a copy of Nabla. I was actually running like 1 step ahead, which is something that can happen in a deck like this, that you kind of want to slow down and go, wait a minute, this is actually how this works. So now that you summon this to your side of the field, your Wick Kid will go off, and it has the ability that if a monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to while you control this card, then you can banish a Cyverse from the graveyard to add a Cyverse tuner from your deck to your hand. So we're going to go ahead and banish the Balancer Lord because the Balancer Lord will actually go off as well and let you special summon a level 4 lower monster from your hand, which is going to be the copy of Nabla that we just banished, or that we just searched. So we're going to go ahead and special summon the copy of Nabla. Again, I try and work from the right to the left just to keep my zones a little bit clean. And then we're going to use the effect of our Alpha or Prima Mathmech. So we're going to go ahead and detach 2 materials from this card. And once we detach both materials from this, we're going to get to search a copy of Super Fractoral because it has the ability that you can add any Mathmech card from your deck to your hand. Now, the Super Fractoral is going to get you a lot of advantage. This card is going to help you out so much in this particular hand. And you don't want to overplay this hand because you're almost actually done with this particular hand going off, because now you're going to set the copy of Super Fractoral on your side of the field, and then you're going to link summon away your copy of your XZ monster and the Nabla if you want to, or you can use the effect of your copy of your Nabla to be able to tribute your copy of your monster on your side of the field to then grab out a copy of multiplication. So multiplication is really, really, really important to get out on your side of the field. So once we got the copy of multiplication on our side of the field, you can double the level of one of your monsters to be able to increase its level a little bit, and it will help out a little bit on your side of the field. Because what basically you've done is the Nabla will let you tribute one of your monsters on your side of the field that's Cyverse to be able to special summon another Math Mech from the deck, and you want to get your copy of multiplication in the graveyard to be able to go into additional plays later on in the particular game. So you're getting a little bit of setup with your multiplication by getting it on your side of the field. It just kind of adds up. We then are going to link these two away on our side of the field to then go for a copy of IP Masquerena on our side of the field. And then you basically, at this point, you're going to pass because you have the setup with the Wit Kid, you have the setup with the Masquerena, and you have the Code Talker inverted to not be able to special summon the extra monster zone a little bit easier to special summon here to clean out the extra monster zone. So when your opponent goes into their turn, if they try and target any of your monsters, you're then going to have a counter trap set with the Cynet Conflict against your opponent to be able to negate something against them when a spell trap or monster effect is activated, while you control a Code Talker monster, which we control Code Talker inverted. You can, if you do, you can banish that card, and if you do, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects with the same name of that card for the rest of the turn that was banished, which is really, really good until the end of the next turn, which is really powerful of an effect. So you can go ahead and counter trap your opponent with your copy of Cynet Conflict, and then you can go ahead and link summon with your copy of IP Masquerena and your Cyverse Wit Kid to be able to go into a copy of Avermax. So Avermax is going to help you out a ridiculous amount because now this card cannot be targeted. When this card is linked summon on the field, your opponent got to target this card with card effects. It can't be a throwback card effects as well because of your IP Masquerena. So this card is going to be ridiculously hard for your opponent to out. It's just a ridiculously powerful card now. Also, their monsters cannot target monsters for attacks except for this one, so it's actually protecting all of your other monsters. And then on top of that, if this card battles a special summon monster, then it gains the attack of the special summon monster as well. So they're going to have a really hard time actually outing this unless they kaiju it. And the majority of the time, they're not going to be playing kaijus. They're going to have to side those in. So this card is really, really hard to out on its own. So then after you go ahead and let your opponent go, you're going to, during your turn, draw for turn, and then you can activate your copy of Super Fractoral. Now you can do this on your opponent's turn if you want to. You have two options to actually go into. You have the copy of the other Math Mech XZ, or you can go into Geo Math Mech Final Sigma to help you OTK your opponent. I usually go for Geo Math Mech Final Sigma, unless I just want to go for my copy of my XZ monster to just rip my opponent, because this card is basically Trishula, because it lets you send a random card from your opponent's hand to the grave, send a monster from your opponent controls to the grave, and then send a spell trap your opponent controls to the grave as well, which is just really good just to be able to get multiple like rips against your opponent. You can do it during your opponent's end phase, because the Super Fractoral will actually go off during their turn to XZ summon this during their turn. If you want to go into that play, it's totally up to you. But basically, the general concept of what you're doing with the Super Fractoral is you're going to put 3 Math Mechs on your side of the field, and then use these 3 Math Mechs to either XZ summon or to Synchro summon. So I usually grab a Tuner, which is my Nabla, Multiplication, and a Subtraction or Addition. Totally is up to you, as long as it's another Math Mech monster. And then you can kind of pick and choose which way you want to go. If you want to XZ during their turn, you just simply do this during their turn, and then you have the ability to detach 3, and then once you detach 3, you can resolve all 3 effects. Or if you want to Synchro summon, you can actually use these 3 on your side of the field to Synchro summon into the Geo Math Mech Final Sigma, which I usually do because this thing is literally unaffected by everything. And when it's in the extra monster zone, it can inflict double damage, and this card is just ridiculous because it inflicts double damage to your opponent, and then also it has the ability that if this card is destroyed by battle in its owner's possession, then you can add a Math Mech card from your deck to your hand. So you have a lot of different plays that you can go off with this particular card. You also have that you drew into the copy of Diameter, so you can normal summon the Diameter to your side of the field, and when this card is normal summon, you get to target a level 4 Cyverse monster in the grave and special summon it, but it can't activate its effects. You can activate the effects of a Math Mech monster that was Synchro Summon or XZ Summon, gains the following effect to once per turn. When this card was special summoned, your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you negate the effect, so it can give you additional plays as well. because basically at this point you can then just special summon out subtraction, and then you can use this along with a equation to be able to bring back an additional copy of multiplication, and then multiplication lets you target one of your Cyverse monsters and increase it, and then you can overlay all three of these and get your other play to then be able to OTK your opponent. So you can detach the materials to be able to go into your extra play. So you have all these really crazy plays that you can go off into with this deck. Like, it's really ridiculous. It takes a little bit to actually like figure the deck out, but once you get like one normal summon, it's really easy to actually pull off what you're trying to do. So let's do that again, but let's do it a little bit faster in the next test stand, because I wanted to explain it and actually take the moment to actually explain exactly every card that we're going into. And keep in mind about that Cyverse Wit Kid, you need to go into your XZ monster under it, because once you special summon under it, its effect will actually go off. So that is something important to keep in mind. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle it up and see what we can actually do for another test stand. I will mention, you guys, if you're going to be playing this deck in person, definitely pile shuffle it, because that is going to be extremely important to make sure that you're pile shuffling. So let's go ahead and see what we can do for another one. So we're going to draw into Synapse Conflict. Not that great because you don't want to draw into it. Foolish Burial, Microcoder, and a copy of Diameter. So this is okay. You have a little bit of a play here. You still have plays, like the hand is still live, because you can go Foolish Burial and send your copy of Sigma to grave, and Sigma can special summon itself since you don't have a monster in the extra monster zone, which is going to get your normal summon to your side of the field anyways. You can then use your copy of your Diameter on your side of the field and then normal summon it. And then once you do, you can do your standard Devotee Disciple combo to be able to go into both of these, and then you're going to tribute out the copy of Devotee. Once you tribute off the Devotee, you're going to get your 2 tokens, and you're going to get to draw a card, and then put a card on the bottom of the deck, which can be your conflict, because you're going to try and grab it anyways. You then link these 2 away, like we did before, to go directly into your copy of your Inverted. Once you go into Inverted, you can then use your copy of these 2 on your side of the field to actually search, or actually, excuse me, you'll get a search first to be able to go into an additional play. Grab your copy of your Conflict, and then once you grab your copy of your Conflict, if you use the copy of Mining first that you got, you could get a little bit more advantage, but you're going to just use the Mining now to then send a card from your hand to the graveyard, which will be your copy of your Ash Blossom, to then grab out of the deck a copy of, you can grab anything that you particularly want that's a Cyverse card at this point, that's level 4 or lower. So you have a lot of advantages you can actually grab at this point. It's totally up to you what you particularly grab. I would probably grab Addition, because Addition's going to boost up your monster's attack to be able to go in for additional, like, additional damage. But you're going to send the Ash Blossom to graveyard to get you an additional, like, card. Haha. And then you can special summon this out to your side of the field by increasing the attack of a monster, set your copy of Conflict, and then you just start linking from there. You can link these away on your side of the field if you want to. You can actually hold this if you want to. Link these away, summon out your copy of your Wit Kid to your side of the field, and then once you summon out the copy of Wit Kid, you'll summon the Addition. Addition's effect will go off, target this on your side of the field, and then the effect of Addition will actually go off to banish Cyverse from the graveyard to add a Cyverse tuner from your deck to your hand. And then you can grab out of the deck a copy of an additional monster, which is going to help you out a little bit to be able to grab an additional monster. You don't have the copy of the Balancer Lord, which Balancer Lord is just ridiculously good in situations like this. But Balancer Lord is like the main card that you want to see the majority of the time. But we're going to go ahead and grab Subtraction. You can target any of the monsters that you have to go into this. And then you're actually, excuse me, you can't grab Subtraction. You have to grab a tuner. So we're going to grab a tuner, which you've already summoned the Sigma, and you control a monster in the extra monster zone now. So you can't use its effect, unfortunately. But you still can grab a copy of Nabla, and you can still link summon for 2. So you can link away the copy of Wit Kid and the Addition for an IP, and you still get your effect off where you get the Avermax. But it's a little bit slower of a hand because you don't have all those really ridiculous plays that you had before, but you still have a pretty decent field, because you can then, during your opponent's turn, you have the negation here with a copy of Conflict, and then you can also link these away to basically make an untargetable protected Avermax on your side of the field that's going to be ridiculously powerful. So you have a really simple hand compared to that really awesome complicated first hand. So if you draw for turn, you're going to get a Monster Reborn that you can then use the Monster Reborn on your side of the field. It doesn't really matter what you bring out. This is during the next turn. So we're going to go ahead and bring back the Addition. Normal summon the Nabla. Nabla effect is going to tribute the copy of Addition. And then you're going to special summon Multiplication from the deck, which the Multiplications effect will go off, increasing the level of another monster on the field by 4. And then once you do, you can synchro these two together for a Geomathmech Final Sigma, which is going to get you an OTK against your opponent. So it's very simple. Like, as you can see, like, it depends on the hand. Like, that hand looked broke. I mean, it looked bad. Like, the first hand was really, really good. The second hand was not quite so good. But as you can see, you can pull it out very easily with this deck to be able to just OTK your opponent. It's really fun to play, and I really enjoy playing Mathmech. It's fun. Like, this deck is really easy to learn once you've learned it, but basically what you're trying to do is get to your Balancer Lord as quickly as possible to get you that additional normal summon on your side of the field to then go into some really insane, crazy plays. So I think that's going to be it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely tell me what you think of this deck down in the comments down below. Tell me if this deck adds up to you. And tell me what your favorite of the Mathmechs are. I actually personally like the artwork of Nabla the best, and Nabla is like my favorite because of it being such a key combo piece for the deck. So anyways, guys, this is Dark Duels. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can come part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, and we'll see you guys in the next video. And thank you again, AWOL, for checking out this video and definitely requesting this one because this one was a blast to make. I will mention you guys too, make sure that you remember when you use your copy of your Nabla and your Multiplication, they will gain additional effects. Like, for example, your Nabla will give it additional attacks, and your copy of Multiplication is just really nice for increasing levels. So keep that in mind about those when you use them as material for your cards. So anyways, guys, this is Dark Duels. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.